Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, September 19th. I'm John Weigell with Maria Gharib, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Google's Gemini just dethroned ChatGPT as the top AI app on the App Store, racking up 12.6 million downloads in September alone, thanks to its new Nano Banana model, driving a 45% surge. Meanwhile, OpenAI is pivoting towards child safety with age verification systems, while Google doubles down on AI-powered content creation tools for YouTube Shorts. So is this the moment that Google finally reclaims the AI crown? We'll get to that and the biggest headlines in business and tech right after this. Starting us off, Tesla is exploring combining electronic and manual release mechanisms in its doors following reports of owners getting stuck in or out of their cars, including after crashes that left vehicles on fire. A Bloomberg investigation found 140 incidents of passengers trapped in Teslas, some resulting in significant injury. Next, AI music startup Moises will take Whitney Houston, yes, Whitney Houston, on tour 13 years after her passing. Moises' stem separation technology will revive Houston's vocals and present them alongside a symphony orchestra, with the first of 8 shows kicking off this weekend in Cincinnati. Before you get too mad about this, though, Houston's estate is fully backing the project, actually. Next, we're going to keep rolling with the AI news. We got a lot today. AI chip startup Grok, G-R-O-Q, which has absolutely nothing to do with Elon Musk's chatbot Grok, G-R-O-K, is now valued at $7 billion. Mass-producing AI chips remains a good gig, and it's projected to grow to a $400 billion per year industry by 2030. And finally, Meta unveiled its new Oakley Meta Vanguard smart glasses, priced at $499 and meant for athletes. They feature a camera, speakers, AI voice controls, integration with fitness trackers, and are designed to block out sun, wind, and dust. Classic Oakley. And for more stuff like that, you can subscribe to the show, and we'll have more headlines for you tomorrow. But today, it is, of course, time for our AI update with Maria from the Mindstream newsletter. Let's get into it. So, Maria, first things first, welcome back.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for being here again. Is there anything this past week that you found particularly interesting in the AI world? You always come with something that I've actually never heard before. So what do you got this week?
So many things have happened.
Okay.
I mean, not to be last week. Last week was crazy. But this week, I saw something that's very interesting. And I think the space nerds would love what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So there's like this thing that came out of NYU Abu Dhabi. I didn't know there was an NYU in Abu Dhabi, by the way. This isn't news to me.
Did not know this either. That's news.
Scientists there built an AI that could predict solar wind up to 4 days ahead.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's 45% more accurate than the models we've been using. When I say we, I don't say us, the normies. I say the people with break brains, like the space nerds. Scientists that do that. That matters because solar wind can mess up with satellites. It can mess up power grids, and it can even drag spacecraft out of orbit. So
wow.
I think SpaceX kind of lost 40 Starlink satellites in 2022 because of that.
That's right.
So what's cool in this model, basically, it doesn't just crunch text like ChatGPT, obviously. It actually reads ultraviolet images of the sun and finds patterns we'd never actually catch. So it's a reminder, obviously, that AI isn't just about chatbots. Actually, it does pretty cool, serious tools for real science thingies.
Real science thingies.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a very good look at a useful tool outside of like commercial AI.
Yeah.
That is something that's actually impacting us, because when you draw the comparison with that and like the Starlink satellites, if we want to give everybody Wi-Fi in the world, which is, I think, a thing that's coming in the next 5 to 10 years, you definitely have to make sure your satellites don't get blown away or damaged.
By the sun.
By the sun. And this is a good way to try to prevent that. I didn't even know there was wind on solar or sun.
Does it have air?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's burning.
I mean, I thought it was just on fire. I don't know.
I think, yeah, us normies wouldn't know what's happening. So
we wouldn't know. I'm glad scientists have figured it out and are using AI for something like this, because I think it's a really good idea.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And to move on to more commercial uses of AI, let's talk about Google. Google's been in the news this week. Gemini overtook ChatGPT on the App Store as its Nano Banana AI model drives downloads up 45% for Google Gemini. I think I thought two things when I saw this. Wow, that's really big for Google, number one. And number two, maybe it's because everybody already has ChatGPT, the app. So it would make sense that people are just trying another AI app, and that's why it got first place. But what do you think about this Gemini resurgence on the App Store?
Let's just put stuff into perspective right now. Nano Banana sounds like a cartoon character, in my opinion.
It does.
People really don't talk about this much, and I should tell this to people. It sounds like a cartoon. It's so cool. It sounds so cool in my head.
Like tiny banana.
Nano Banana. It's a pretty symbolic shift, obviously. We've all gotten used to OpenAI being the name people associate with, when it comes to AI apps. And suddenly Google's climbing back up. The surge kind of comes after they rolled out the Nano Banana model. But I think what people don't know is that it's an image editing tool that makes really complex edits way, way easier and way more realistic. And people have been having fun with it. So when you see the edits on TikTok, you want to do something like that. And people loved it. And it drove downloads up to 45% month over month.
Yeah.
Which we're talking, I think it's 12.6 million installs in September alone, compared to 8.7 million in August.
Wow.
So that's not a blip either. Gemini shot up to the number one on the App Store and stayed there, while ChatGPT slipped into second place. So globally, it's now a top 5 iPhone app in over 100 countries, which is a huge flex for Google, especially after years of lagging in the AI race. So yeah, now whether this is Google's fully reasserting dominance or just a moment of hype around fun image tools, that's the real question. Yeah. But when you think about scale, I think Google has Android and has Chrome and Search and all the pipes already laid.
Yeah.
And if they can keep users hooked inside Gemini, that's a serious foundation of making AI feel mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, it seems like Google is really attacking this also from a creative lens, because you can make images in ChatGPT, but it's not necessarily the primary function or what a lot of people use it for. So if you can go to Google, if you can go to Gemini and use Nano Banana and generate really exact images, and also use other things like VO3, which came out pretty recently, to generate video, I think they're really kind of carving out a niche for themselves in the AI space with imagery that people can actually use and make videos with potentially. So I think that's another big thing about them. And they also just announced kind of in that area that they're going to help creators use a lot of AI with YouTube Shorts. And that's a really big deal because it allows creators to break down their long form videos and edit them into AI Shorts and also create more videos with VO3. So what do you make of this kind of jump of theirs into the content landscape? Because they have the infrastructure for it, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that people assume that AI kind of cuts down on creativity. But I think with these apps and these kind of edits, it's getting better and better, in my opinion. You'd be so surprised about what people can create. So YouTube just dropped a whole batch of AI tools for Shorts. And honestly, it's a huge win for the people on TikTok. But with Google's brain behind it, obviously. So they're rolling out, as you said, the VO3 Fast, which is a faster, lighter version of their text-to-video model. And creators can spin up, I think it's 480, if I'm not mistaken, P clips on the fly with sound. Before we used to struggle with people generating sounds, but now the sound's insane. So you can even take a still picture and a still photo and make it dance it's auditioning for a K-pop group, Right. On top of that, you've got AI remixing, which is turning dialogue from videos into songs with Google's Lyria 2 model. It's a new edit with AI tool that basically takes your very messy camera roll. I think this was made for people like me because I'm always shaky when I'm doing because of the 700,000 iced soy latte that I drink. And it spits out polished draft with really good cuts, transition, and even voiceovers in English or, any other language. And it's basically saying, don't worry if you're not a pro editor, we kind of got you on this. What this does for the content landscape, because, everyone's a content creator these days, but
True.
I think the people that kind of climb up the ladder, it's going to kind of help them out with the volume of the amount of shorts, I guess. So imagine the remix culture of TikTok, but way more accessible and way, way faster. On the flip side, it might make originality a bit harder to spot, you know?
True.
So when everyone's got AI edits, you know, and trends, it could blur everything together. But that's kind of like a YouTube's play. If you lower the barrier to creators, you widen the funnel, and more content means more eyeballs. So.
Exactly. I mean, it just increases people's ability to make more stuff and potentially to keep users on the platform longer because there's just more content to digest. I mean, Google announced that YouTube has given like over $100 billion to creators or something since its inception, which is insane. So I think that that's going to even get more of an increase because YouTube is the dominant app on, for example, like TVs nowadays. So it is kind of getting all that traction. And it makes sense. Yeah, I think it's a good play by them.
100%. I mean, whenever I open my smart TV, the first thing that I open, it's not Netflix, it's not Disney Plus, it's YouTube.
Right. Makes sense. Lastly here, I wanted to move to OpenAI. We mentioned them a bit earlier, but they are investing apparently a ton in security, mostly with age restrictions and parental controls, which I mean makes sense.
Yeah.
Because how would you ever tell if somebody under the age of 18 is on ChatGPT and looking up some like wild stuff? You would never know. But they're trying to develop technology to find out if a user is under 18 and using the platform. Do you have thoughts on how that will even work?
Yeah, I mean, putting guardrails on ChatGPT, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but I will become one day, like, you know, eventually in the future. And the idea of like something that isn't kind of controlled scares me because everything's moving really fast. So they're working on ways to detect if a user is under 18 and then automatically redirect them to a more age-appropriate version of the app. And parents will even be able to link accounts, set controls on what features, you know, teens can access. And I think it also gets alert if the system flags signs of acute distress. By acute distress, I mean something very, very extremely inappropriate. Mm-hmm. On one hand, it makes tons of sense. Obviously, teens are already what I'd call the first AI natives, and they kind of teach us a lot of stuff. It scares me, but you know, they're growing up with this tech and with the same way we grew up with the internet. Like having some kind of structure in place is way better than just tossing them into the deep end. Yeah. On the other hand, the big question is like, how well would this actually work? Because kids are notoriously good at bypassing restrictions. So they're going to find ways, you know?
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
AI isn't perfect at age detection. Like it's not the best option out there. And we see like a lot of problems out there with predators and everything. So it's a scary place. I think OpenAI is on the right track when it comes to that. And they're going to tighten it as much as possible. So while this is a solid move on paper, the execution is like what really matters. So let's just wait and see what they're up to.
Yeah, there was some news that they would maybe even start doing identity verification, that you have to upload your ID or something in order to use the platform, which I'm sure for a lot of users would be a bit frustrating because it prolongs the process of getting into the platform. But it seems like a security measure that makes sense when you're talking about like minors using the platform, because they can get around stuff, as you said, no problem. I just always think to like the websites that are like, oh, are you like over the age of 18 or something? Or like YouTube videos that like, oh, are you over the age of 18? Like, who's going to click no?
Who's going to say no to that? Like,
who's going to say no? Everybody's going to be like, I'm going to pick a random birthday and I'm going to get on this website.
I would be very happy if someone kind of asked me for my ID in a nightclub and like, because I'm like literally reaching 30 this week. So like, if someone asked me that, I'd be happy. But a kid, you know, out there that they don't know what's the limit and they want to find ways into these AI tools without adults being around. Mm-hmm. We've had our own ways as kids to kind of find ways around any tool whatsoever on the internet. So the kids are way smarter these days. So yeah, it's a bit scary.
They are. That actually sounds really funny that if ChatGPT asked me for my ID in a few years, I could be like, wow, so flattering. Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking me that, Chat.
How old do you think I am, ChatGPT? Just guess. Well, thank you so much, Maria, and happy birthday, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily. See you next week.
going to be straight with you. Everybody's talking about AI, but most people are just playing around with ChatGPT instead of actually making money from it. That's why we dropped the ultimate crash course to create your own AI side hustle in 7 days. We're talking real frameworks and strategies from the pros, like the founder of The Hustle, Sam Parr. It includes mini guides, templates, the whole 9 yards, stuff that takes years to figure out, condensed into 1 week. Stop what you're doing right now and grab it in the show notes. Your future self will thank you.